Empty streets called to me, desolate houses whispered secrets. Forgotten places held a strange allure. I craved the mysteries they held, the stories etched on crumbling walls. My passion, my obsession, abandoned places. This time the whispers led me to a forgotten village, tucked away in the heart of the mountains, absent from any map, a place time forgot, untouched by the modern world. I felt a thrill, a tremor of anticipation and something else, unease. The journey was arduous. Thorny bushes tore at my clothes, the path, barely visible, snaked upwards. The air grew colder, the silence deeper. Shadows stretched, twisting familiar shapes into something unsettling. The sun dipped below the peaks, painting the sky in hues of blood orange and bruised purple. A low mist rose, tendrils reaching up like ghostly fingers. I pushed on, drawn by an invisible force. The feeling of unease intensified. I was being watched. The village emerged from the mist like a phantom. Grey stone houses huddled together, their windows like empty eyes. An unnatural stillness hung in the air, broken only by the rustling leaves. Time seemed to stand still. I stepped into the village square. Grass sprouted between cobblestones. A rusted well stood silent, its bucket frozen in time. The silence pressed in, suffocating. It wasn't just the absence of sound, it was the absence of life itself. Or so I thought. A flicker of movement at the corner of my eye. I turned, heart pounding. Nothing. Just the wind playing tricks on my frayed nerves, but I felt it, a presence watching, waiting. The air grew colder, a chill that seeped into my bones. The shadows seemed to deepen, to writhe. The rustling leaves took on a rhythm, a whisper that sent shivers down my spine. They were coming alive. Section 5, Faces in the Mist. A figure coalesced from the mist, tall, gaunt, with eyes that burned like embers. It didn't walk, it glided towards me. Then another and another emerging from the fog, their features indistinct, their expressions unreadable. They surrounded me, their silence more terrifying than any scream. I was trapped, alone in a village of ghosts. Their eyes bored into me, filled with a sorrow that chilled me to the core. I understood then. They weren't malevolent, but mournful, forever bound to this forgotten place. Section 6. A village awakened. The village, once silent, sprang to life. Lanterns flickered, casting long, dancing shadows. I heard the murmur of voices, the echo of laughter. But the sounds were wrong, distorted, like a warped record. The villagers went about their business, their movements mechanical, their faces etched with an unsettling joy. They paid me no heed, trapped in their own spectral tableau. I was invisible to them, an outsider witnessing a play performed for no one. Section 7, Flight into Fear. Panic seized me. I had to escape this spectral charade. I turned, my feet pounding on the cobblestones, the spectral laughter echoing in my ears. The village seemed to press in, the fog thickening, disorienting me. I ran blindly, the path disappearing behind me. The ghostly villagers didn't pursue, content in their spectral dance. But the feeling of being watched intensified, a presence clinging to me like cobwebs. Section 8. The price of curiosity. I burst through the tree line, gasping for air, the taste of fear bitter on my tongue. The village, shrouded in mist, seemed to vanish as quickly as it had appeared. Had it all been real, or a figment of my imagination fueled by my obsession? I looked down at my trembling hand. Clutched in it was a single withered flower, a flower that shouldn't exist outside the confines of that spectral village. Proof, chilling and undeniable, that I hadn't imagined it. Section 9. The endless cycle. I'd stumbled away, desperate to put distance between myself and that cursed place. But I knew, with a certainty that chilled me to the bone, that I was forever changed. The village, the villagers, their sorrow were etched into my soul. And as I looked back at the swirling mist, I saw a figure standing at the edge of the trees. a solitary figure watching me with those ember eyes, waiting for the next curious soul to stumble upon their forgotten world, their endless cycle of sorrow,